Greetings and welcome back to 50 Shades of Beige. Today we are refurbishing. We're actually turning this eMachines into a sleeper PC. This machine does not run. I was originally going to use it for GPU June. So I figured, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and tear this down. Might as well take you along for the ride. In fact, I don't even remember where this particular machine came from, if I'm being honest. It's been that long. But it doesn't work, and it's really not a great example of a good computer from the 2000s. There's certainly much better options out there. So I don't really feel bad about putting this thing down and repurposing it. And since eMachines used to advertise that your machine would never be obsolete,
save $275 on this eMachines computer. The system includes a 15-inch monitor and Canon BubbleJet color printer, all for just $499.99 after mail-in rebates. Limited quantities, no rain checks. Don't miss Circuit City's 50th anniversary sale. It's going on now.
and now they are long defunct. I figured there's no time like the present to go ahead and make good on the eMachines promise. So that's what we're doing today. First things first, we gotta get this power supply disconnected. We are gonna pull the power supply and the motherboard out, but we are gonna try to keep the front panel connectors. This thing has a really cool, well, not really cool, but it's got a pretty unique audio and front panel setup that I think would be really fun to use on a modern PC. I'm also going to use a SATA to IDE converter so that we can keep the DVD player, because really the front of this thing doesn't look quite right if it's missing the drives, even though it's got doors on it. Unlike Dell, it appears to be that eMachines was following, at least loosely following, the ATX standard for their connectors and such. So that's good news. It's so funny because eMachines was certainly a budget brand, but now that I'm actually looking in an eMachines for the first time, and I'm sure they went through eras where sometimes they were better than others, but like the actual build quality here and ease of maintenance is not that bad. I feel like I've definitely seen a lot worse from Dell over the years. I need a magnetic tip. Okay. So this machine originally came with 512 megs of RAM, a hard drive, a Pentium 4 with hyper-threading. I'm pretty sure it's a Prescott Pentium 4, but I haven't checked yet. But unfortunately, I mean, considering that these eMachines towers are basically a dime a dozen, I am not ashamed to just let this one go and move on to brighter pastures here. Okay, I think I got all the screws out. What's holding me up here? Oh, nope. We missed one. Okay. Well, I'll be. Okay, so we do have regular standoffs, but they're mixed in alongside these bubble bits here, which could be a problem. So I'm actually going to save these screws that go into the standoffs that are built into the case in hopes that we can reuse them. But I'm looking here at the standoff arrangement, and this looks, I mean, if this isn't MATX, it's awfully close. Alright, so since we're doing things in the name of eMachines, we cannot be expected to use the highest quality parts for our sleeper build. It's still going to be a sleeper, don't get me wrong, but it's going to be a sleeper of humble means. So let's get into our replacement parts here. Now I know some of you think sleeper PC and you equate that term kind of like to what we equate it to with cars. A lot of times what guys will do is they will take a PC case from the 90s and put an absolutely tricked out PC on the inside. And that term sleeper actually comes from car culture, which is where you take a busted up car and you put a really souped up engine in it, right? So we're gonna do something similar here, but instead of making a sleeper, we're gonna make a ricer. I'm sure you've seen them around. These are these little Honda Civics and Acura Integras and stuff. They're super slow, but they got loud mufflers and super gaudy AutoZone special chrome on them and stupid things like that. Maybe some underglow or something. So yeah, tonight we're making the ricer PC. We're gonna kick things off with a Ryzen 5 5600. This is a 6-core, 12-thread, 4.4 boost clock CPU. It's a perfectly fine low to mid-range gaming CPU. In fact, I'd say it's still probably better than 80% of the CPUs that you're gonna find in PCs around the world today. On from that, we're going to put it in a B450M DS3H Wi-Fi, and this motherboard I actually picked up open box from Micro Center. I think I paid about $30 for it. The DS3H is not the best B450 motherboard. It doesn't even come close when it comes to VRM performance to something like an MSI B450M's Bazooka or something like that. However, the Bazooka is still like $80 and you can pick these up for even less. And to top things off, we're gonna go with a Paladin RX 5600 6GB, the Daewoo Lanos of graphics cards. This thing will still do pretty good 1080p gaming. It's a little bit faster than an RX 580, but doesn't have quite the same amount of VRAM. I think that it matches the rest of the build very well. So let's go ahead and start putting things together. This cooler was already installed from a different build, so I'm going to leave it in. Now for RAM, we're going with the 16 gig kit of XPG D50 RAM. I think this is DDR4 3000. Definitely not the best RAM you can find. However, I picked it because I had it on the shelf, and more importantly, it fits our sort of MO with this build. We may have to use the wrong RAM channel here because I don't have space to slide these in. And for storage, we're gonna go with this 2 terabyte Crucial P3. It's probably a little overkill size-wise, but the P3 is a good budget SSD, so we're going with that. I went ahead and fast-forwarded through this project a little bit because we were having some serious issues getting everything lined up the way we needed to. I wanted to keep this hard drive running. I can run power to it, but I don't have another IDE to SATA adapter laying around. I do have one on the CD-ROM drive. Interestingly enough, these eMachines CD-ROMs, the front fascia is actually attached to the CD-ROM drive. It's not part of the front panel of the computer. So be mindful of that if you're going to work on one of these. But overall, everything fits just barely. As you can see over here, I kind of just shoved all the loose cables in there. I tied them up with a zip tie so they're not moving around too much. But the nice thing is we have a fully working sleeper with a fully operational CDRW drive, which I think is going to be really cool. As I mentioned, I did add some more RGB, so we have a light bar down here now, just to kind of light up the GPU a little bit, because the GPU doesn't have any RGB of any kind. So I'm going to go ahead and finish buttoning this up, and then I will show you what the final build looks like. Let's get right to it. Alright, that's going to about do it for our eMachines sleeper build. We made good on the eMachines promise. This device is not obsolete. However, it is more akin to your next door neighbor's Acura Integra with a fart can muffler on the back than it is a sleeper, quote unquote. I'm pretty proud of the fact that I was able to get the front panel completely working on a modern system. So we have the CF card reader, we have the DVD-RW combo, and then we also have the sound working here down below. Pretty excited about that. The performance of this machine was not great. It scored, I think, a 6,000 in 3D Time Spy. You're going to average about between 45 and 60 FPS at 1080p in most games, 1080p medium or high. Really, the GPU, this 5600 OEM, it's pretty garbage. I mean, it's okay. It's not the worst thing in the world. but you can do much better. It's almost equivalent to having like a GTX 1660 Super or something like that. Anyway, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. In the meantime, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you soon.